if there's a trade that's available, I don't see John Lynch overpaying for something. I think that he's very frugal, but I wouldn't necessarily, maybe frugal's the wrong word. I don't think frugal's a good word, but I think he's very calculated.
And careful.
He's careful and he's very smart. He's not going to overpay. And another thing is he doesn't have any pressure on him. He's not feeling any pressure. You know what I mean? And because there's no pressure, it also comes with no expectation. And because those two things are married together, he's able to make decisions with a clear conscience. And I think it's going to help us. I do, however, think that this is a big year.
Are you listening?
Ronbo Sports here, representing the Niner Empire organization worldwide. So appreciate you allowing me to come in and talk some 49ers football with you today. And every day's fun to talk 49ers football right now. We got what's going on? Speculation? Oh, it's just off the hook right now. And, you know, all the hollering I be doing, pretty soon everybody that's a 49er fan is going to be doing a lot of hollering. Oh, man. And where do I start? You know where I'm going to start. I told you weeks ago. I like those stock analysts. I told you weeks ago that Kyler Murray was going to the Cardinals. I also told you why he was going to the Cardinals. You read why he was going to the Cardinals and still, well, you know what? In your defense, yes, lots of lies and bluffs are told right now. But there is a difference between lying and bluffing in Arizona because Cliff Kingsbury told you a long time ago how he felt about Kyler Murray. I understand that was before he became the head coach of the Arizona. I understand all that, but you should understand that as well. He said that not knowing where he was going next. It was an honest, genuine statement he was making. He wasn't just making that up to blow smoke and get somebody to trade up or down. It had nothing to do with that. He really meant it. He really meant it. So when he comes to Arizona, people were waiting for him to say it. By chance, the Arizona Cardinals have the number 1 pick. What is there to bluff about? What is there to lie about? You want trade ups? You think Kingsbury wants you to come and take Kyler Murray away from him? What? How about Steve Keim? What is Keim gonna do? He's a general manager. What do you think he's gonna pull? He's gonna pull a Trent Baalke with Cliff? Let me get into my Cliff. Let me get into my Baalke.
Cliff, you'll do as I tell you to do. I'm the one who's running things around here. We brought you in here to work with Josh Rosen. Now, if you can't do that, you let me know right now. And I'll go out and get somebody who can. I'm not going to put up with any more insolence. I had to deal with Jim Harbaugh, and he had a problem. And if you have one, we'll get it done right now. So, you know, I don't see that. All right? Keim's not Baalke. He's going to do, what is he going to do? He's going to look at Cliff and he'd say, we hired you because we think you're a good coach. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure we get it done. We want to win. Help me help you. Where'd that line come from? Help me help you. Ooh, you know what's so funny? Jerry Maguire, right? And who was he talking to? He was talking to Rod Tidwell of the Cardinals. Isn't it ironic? I love how these things intertwine. Help me help you. And Cliff says, all I'm going to need, we're going to need some pieces, but all I'm going to need is get me Kyler Murray, and we will have begun our journey. And of course, what's Keim going to say? No? Of course he's going to give you got the number 1 pick to do what you want to do. And also, here's something else, too. If you're bluffing, you don't take your last year's first-round pick and start shopping him around in public so everybody can see it. That's taking a bluff too far. Because if I'm a general manager and I call you up and say, hey, no, I'm sorry, it's just an April Fool. Get it? The draft, April Fool. I don't know why I'm doing this today. I can't stop it. April Fool. No, it's not going to be an April Fool. The draft comes in at the end of April and you will have already made your deal. You got Rosen and you made the trades. You gave the Cardinals your pick and let's go. Now, I think the NFL, not only the NFL, Actually, the NFL New York office is probably saying, Cardinals, what are you doing? Okay, you've ruined all the drama of the first round pick. Come on, guys. You know, this is not something you just do. We set this up in a fashion. We want to make it. Where's the pageantry involved if everybody knows who the first round pick is and where he's going? Hey, you know what that does? That makes the 49ers number 2 pick even more dramatic, doesn't it? But that's the way it's going to go. I mean, it's a done deal. And I love the fact that we will have our choice of edge rushers. I must admit, for those I've been arguing with about this for a long time now, I must admit I don't really want Kyler Murray over in our division. But I did see it. That means, believe it or not, Kyler Murray can play football, and in Kingsbury's system, that could be a little rough. But it is at the pro level, and they've got to make that transformation or that segue from college football into the pro ranks, and that could be a little harder than they anticipate. So I figure next year, they'll probably be okay. And it's like, because I said having Wilson, having Wilson and Murray in the same division is probably not a fun thing, but we'll get it done. We're going to get a lot of good defense. If we pick up Nick Bosa, he'll be able to catch both of them. Our defense is going to mature at some point and get better anyway. We're going to pick up some players who help the 49ers out, and we'll be fine. So Kyler Murray goes to Arizona. The 49ers pick up Nick Bosa, which is my vote. Now, wait. I'm saying this because I think Nick is the best guy for the job. Lots of experts have pointed out he's the best man for the job, for the kind of defensive system that we run. Now, if we don't get him, because we're going to be running the wide 9 defense, maybe the 49ers decide that your guy Josh Allen is the guy. Maybe there could be somebody else. It could be Montez Sweat. He's fast. And you see what Charlie Casserly did? He went out and really, you talk about, it was insulting the kind of report that Charlie Casserly, the NFL Network, put out on Kyler Murray. Normally the procedure is that comes from other GMs and other teams because they want this guy to fall in the draft. But Charlie Casserly, he's an analyst. He's an analyst and not a reporter, Charlie Casserly. So what are you doing? So Kyler Murray's lawyers and agents and everybody else are going after Casserly, and Casserly said, hey, I speak my mind. I've got it right. I can say what I want to say. It's my job to make these observations. Charlie Casserly, by the way, used to be the Washington Redskins GM. Could there still be a connection between Charlie Casserly and the Washington Redskins? Why is Casserly bad-mouthing and blasting Kyler Murray? Now, that'll be found out a little later. But he basically said Kyler Murray's an idiot and doesn't know what he's doing. He didn't handle any of the interviews very well. Whoa. Wow. I've never seen anybody get bad-mouthed like that, not without having threw the ball or done anything else. So Casserly's a mystery to me. I have no idea what's going on with that. But I still think the Cardinals are going to stand pat and go ahead and they're going to get Kyler Murray. Big weekend coming up, fam. Yeah. Big. This is it, the free agents. Who we gonna choose? Who we gonna get? Did you check out Kyle Shanahan's statement? Kyle Shanahan, it was very interesting. I found it extremely interesting. Kyle Shanahan says, it would be nice if we could do the draft first and then get to free agency. He said, you see, his rationale was, you go into the draft and you see some players in the 3rd round that you could have got a lot cheaper than the guy who just overpaid in the free agency. And we saw an example of that. Remember when Trent Taylor got drafted and they let Jeremy Curley go? See, that happens. I don't know that that's a norm or that happens all the time, but it does happen, right? So you go into the draft, and as Kyle says, I want to go into the draft, best player that drops down to me, I'm going to be able to pick him up. And that way I go and fill the holes in free agency. The only problem I have with that is it could impact the game the wrong way. Now, in this case now, all those polished players that have finished their rookie contracts and, maybe they can't get paid from their organization or something like that, it would lower the quality of the game. Just my own opinion. I could be wrong, but I think it would lower the quality of the game. If you don't move players around that other teams can't afford to pay, what happens to them? A lot would have to be altered as far as contracts. A lot would have to be altered. I mean, it would get really crazy. I got a feeling the Players Association would have a problem with that kind of thing. So I don't really think they'd actually go for that. So it'd be kind of interesting to see what would happen. But I don't think so.
Ronbo!
Oh,
That time of year, Ronbo.
Yeah, it is.
We about to get better.
Yeah, hopefully.
Who you looking at in free agency?
I'm looking at Earl Thomas to join up with Richard Sherman. I want that reunited.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like Earl too. But C.J. Mosley,
Yeah.
that's my dude.
Ooh,
Ronbo,
yeah.
this year just filled 2 voids though.
Okay.
Edge and secondary, and I believe we can fall up into the playoffs. Then, Ronbo, you won't look like a fool for a change come next January for being wrong again.
What? What? Wait, what? Again?
We'll be all right,
Huh?
and I'm gone.
What? Oh. MC came in and did a quick diss and left like he always likes to do. I'm going to say that. Oh, you know I'm going to say it too, don't you? I'm going to start making my excuses as to what happened to the offense. I lost my starting quarterback. I lost my starting running back. My other running back was playing with one wheel. Okay? My starting wide receivers, both of them were gone. MC, man, you ain't right, man. That was not cool. I was wrong again. I have been wrong since 2015, but this is my year. I'm feeling good about it. I'm telling you right now, fam. I lost a lot of players to the IR. We could have did, but I'm still saying, all right, listen, you know what? I'm not going to make excuses now. I'm going to try to avoid making excuses. I may not have to make any excuses. I got a lot of things I want to talk about. I'm going to just, hey, let's go on out to New York, and talk to a Niner faithful that knows this game. Yeah, let's go. Niner fam, as you know, Steve and I talked a while back. Steve out on the East Coast, faithful as can be. You see the Reds surrounding him like crazy. Steve, what's happening, man?
What's happening, baby? He's going to be on the show, man. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, thanks for having time for me, man. You know what? Because, Steve, here's the thing. We were laughing and cutting up before, talking about how the 49ers are about to make some huge leaps. You can feel it in the air now. There's no more fooling around. They're like, it's as if somebody's in their ear saying things like, listen, Niners, you guys, this is year number 3. Let's poop and get up off the pot type of thing, right? So that's hilarious to observe in itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that we have come week 3 about, the fourth quarter in Kansas City. I think our season affectionately hit the pause button. So it was a 6-year contract that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan signed, which affectionately now turned into 7, because we've improved statistically in almost every category, especially offensively. But what really sucks is, this is big time. This is time when Jimmy should be getting reps. This is really important time in his growth. But it's also a blessing in disguise because we are holding the 2nd overall pick. Yes. Our roster, the talent we possess, our top free agent, Jerick McKinnon, never even saw the field, and he never saw the field with Jimmy. And there's this narrative going around that in the beginning of the year, Jimmy didn't play well. That's dribble. Like I said, I went back and watched that film against Minnesota, and the San Francisco 49ers left 28 points on that field. Yeah. There was 3 touchdowns, 2 of which dropped by Kittle. One was a fumble on the goal line. And there was basically one really bad pick.
Arms, right? I forgot. Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, San Francisco had we should have won that game. Now I'm the most objective person you'll ever find. I'm telling you. So if the Niners, they laid an egg, they sucked it up. I'll be the first person to tell you. But the Niners had every reason to win that football game. We should have won that game. We had every opportunity to win that game.
I'm that guy that I am the worst. I get people get on me about it, but I've always got nothing but positivities about the 49ers. I said they should have won that game, and I got all kind of flack. I said, this is Minnesota Vikings, man. We never had a chance. Yeah. And then, just like you just went over, some of the mistakes that were made in that game had a lot to do, of course, with Kyle Shanahan not being able to implement the things he had already planned for the season because Jerick McKinnon goes down, a few hours before the game. So that's, now I got to rewrite the whole program.
Do you remember?
Do people know how much I had involved in this kid? Yeah.
Exactly. There was a pick that Jimmy Garoppolo threw. He was trying to hit AB on a comeback. Or I'm sorry, not AB, it was KB. I'm sorry. And it was a miscommunication, and the miscommunication came with the protection. I remember seeing the quote. I have it screenshotted, and Shanahan was talking about it. And you can see Jimmy walking on the field, snapping his straps off, and he's yelling
pissed.
KB. Yeah, he's pissed because it was a miscommunication. Like a lot of people get on him. Oh, Jimmy sucked. No, he did not.
Kendrick
no,
Bourne ran the wrong route. Is what
he ran the wrong route.
and
what happened.
And everybody said it afterwards. So get off the kid. Jimmy will be fine. And now that he's had another year to even absorb that book a little bit better, I'm planning on things moving a lot faster. Tell you what, though, Steve, let's get into this right now because as you know, it's time for, actually, it's a combination of a lot of things here. We got the free agency coming up, the draft. But here's a funny thing. I've never heard of this happening before with the 49ers. And maybe for good reason, since like what we just got through talking about, we've always been down in the toilet somewhere, so nobody wants to play with the 49ers. But now, you got kids in the draft because they do a lot of talking in the draft and the combine, right? So you got Brian Burns, Cleveland Farrell, Quentin Williams, Montez Sweat. These guys are actually pitching their case. Listen, I can end your problem off the pass rush, which is, everybody agrees we got a problem with that. Any of those kids appeal to you? Steve, did you have anybody else in mind?
I've been a pretty big fan of the Burns kid since middle of this year. I mean, I'm really a fan of the style in which he plays. He reminds me of Aldon Smith. He's long and rangy. Yeah. He's your typical stereotypical edge guy, hand on the ground. But there's so many scenarios. We're in a really unique and a really positive place to be because our roster is much better than our record. For one, we're picking very high, and now it looks like, I think it's pretty much, I heard a done deal that Arizona's going to take that quarterback. I think he's going to, which means I think we're going to get Bosa. The problem is, now Bosa is just like his brother, possibly better. They are phenomenal edge rushers, and those kids got a motor that they don't stop. They don't, man. So I'm a fan of Bosa. I could be a fan of trading back with a team that's desperate to get out.
I still want Nicky B. You know what? I got a feeling you're right, though. I got a feeling they're going to do that somehow.
Just totally destroy some other team. They just completely overpay us for amount of picks that fall back from. For instance, what if I threw this at you? Let's say the New York Giants wanted to move from 6, or they're at 8, right?
Yeah.
Let's say they wanted to move from 8 to 2. So we move back to 8, get the Burns kid, or someone else that we covet. Yeah. We get Odell Beckham. We lose our second rounder this year, move back to 8, and give him a third rounder for next year. Now we serve 2 needs in the first 20 picks. What do you think of that?
See, those are the things the decisions are going to have to be made on that because they're going to come at them. They're number 2. There's going to be offers made from somewhere. Even if it's not the Giants, it's going to be made from somewhere. And somebody with that one with the Giants is about mostly appealing because of the fact if you're going to put the OBJ boy in there, oh man, if you put the OBJ child in any deal, the same thing I've got going with the Jaguars. If they said, but the Jaguars have already settled out their situation, they're going to take Nick Foles. But there are certain players you throw in there. Now it changes the whole complexion of this situation. Yeah. But to load up on picks, and we don't have it. We got 6 picks, Steve. You're right. Yeah. If they add all those picks, I just don't want in midseason. Look at Bosa, man. It's game 4. The guy's got 8 sacks. I love him. I knew this was going to happen.
That and another thing, Ronbo. Let's not forget of how many games total has Garoppolo played now? Is it 8? Is it 8 or 9 total? Yeah, he's like 8 and 2.
He went down a game. He played 5. Yeah. You're right. He played 5 in the season.
Then he won and he beat Detroit. That's 6 wins. Is he 6 and 2?
Because
so now let's not forget the Niners had like the second to worst receiving core in the NFL. And those last 5 games that he played, they were the top receiving core in the NFL. They were. Now, let's also remember, in Minnesota, we're judging off of a couple of games. He shredded Detroit, and he would have shredded the Vikings, too. But the problem was we were having a real issue with drop balls that no one talks about. Now, I don't necessarily believe that having a very big or very coveted or very big name at the wide receiver position is a necessity. If you think about the top wide receivers in the NFL that have played in the last 5 years, how many of them have Super Bowls?
I love when people ask that question.
Yes,
I use it myself now, too. I say, you know what? Because I hadn't thought about it. But yeah, I can't even think of any. Every game, every year in the Super Bowl is usually won by some kind of a brilliant move on defense. I know everybody says, Brady passed for 500 yards and they lost to the Eagles. Okay, but it was a defensive play at the end of the game that won the game. So, yeah, I hear you.
That's right. In my opinion, the way to that Super Bowl is you have to have a quarterback and you have to have a pass rush.
Yep.
Those are the two most important things. I love the Bosa kid. Love him. I'm all about it. And if there's a trade that's available, I don't see John Lynch overpaying for something. I think that he's very frugal, but I wouldn't necessarily, maybe frugal's the wrong word. I don't think frugal's a good word, but I think he's very calculated.
And careful.
He's careful and he's very smart. He's not going to overpay. And another thing is he doesn't have any pressure on him. He's not feeling any pressure. You know what I mean? And because there's no pressure, it also comes with no expectation. And because those two things are married together, he's able to make decisions with a clear conscience. And I think it's going to help us. I do, however, think that this is a big year. This is a very big year for us. It's going to have to be, I think, 6-10 is not good.
No.
No, it's not good.
And there's no reason for it. Health will always be an issue, Steve. If everybody stays on the field, we were an 8-8 team last year. So we're behind the pace because of last year's injuries. But that was an 8-8 team last year. I mean, look at the games we lost. Those should have been won.
Yep.
There's a way the Cardinals
should have beat Green Bay. No,
and the Cardinals were going to sweep Jimmy.
Green Bay too.
Yeah. And San Diego.
And San Diego.
The Chargers. So, and about John being careful, look what's happening to, let's say, Kansas City. Kansas City's also letting all kind of go. Look at the Ravens. Look at the Rams. There's no money. You're not going to be able to re-sign the kids that are coming up, their rookie contracts. You got to say goodbye to them. Or else you go the Belichick route and say, get out. I'll be fine.
I'll tell you, to play devil's advocate, though, I'm terrified of our defense, Ronbo. I don't like where we're at.
It needs work.
There's
all there is to it.
I think what I feel in what we miss is in two words: one, effort, and two, ferociousness. There is no one. There is no Deshaun Goldson no more. There is no Dante Whitner, no Patrick Willis, and there damn sure ain't no Justin Smith. Like there's nobody that wants to lay wood. And here's another thing. I'm very critical of Ahkello Witherspoon, and I was for weeks and weeks and weeks. Then there was this video dropped of Dante Whitner putting together about an hour's worth of tape, just trashing him. No one puts together an hour of tape completely, just to do it on you because you're like, come on, bro. Like you're really underwhelming here. And the thing is I believe in his talent. He's a very talented cover corner. He's rangy, but he's not. It's not the effort there, man. Like I want dogs, man. You know what I mean?
And a flag thrown for unnecessary roughness every now and then.
Yeah.
Although, Steve, I saw some progress. And I may have been hallucinating. I thought I saw because I wanted him to be better. So
you did.
I saw some progress in the last 2 or 3 games. I saw a head turning around. I saw locking hip down the sideline, keeping your man sealed against the edge. Some things that I didn't see earlier. So Dante must have got in his head. Maybe gave him a phone call. Jeff Hafley's left us, Steve. That may help us. We picked up a new defensive back coach. Hafley there was no improvement going on from week to week. That pointing around the field was telling. When guys are pointing at each other, like, what were you doing? I was doing my job. What the hell were you? When you see that, something went wrong during the course of the week with the coaching staff.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you also make a great point. He was a top 15 Pro Football Focus rated corner the last, I believe, 4 weeks. He really did improve. I believe we started 9 different people at safety, which is just an we just got nuked with injuries. And it's, you can next man up and say that, but you know what, dude? When you're losing people that are, at one point, I think we almost started a tackle or a tight end at tackle. Like it was that bad. I was going back and reading it and like, and God bless Richard Sherman, man. He was quietly a top corner. No one talks about him because he's on our team, but I really think that I believe in the methodology of John Lynch, and he brings what he had in Tampa with him to San Francisco, and he believes the same way that Balky did, that's strong in the middle. He wants a Warren Sapp. Then he wanted his Reuben Foster, which is a whole nother fiasco. And then a John Lynch behind that. Strong up the middle. I think he found that what he thought was his Warren in Solomon Thomas. He found his Derek Brooks and Reuben Foster, although I love Fred Warner. And I think that the next...
He just needs somebody to run with. Yeah.
Yes, we need a safety, I think. We need a ball hawk back there.
And it's funny you mentioned that because we, like you say, we got 9 or 10 safeties in camp now. They get banged up and thrown out of the game. This is why Mike Persons, people give me a lot of grief about Mike Persons. And Mike Persons, I said, guys, Mike Persons will play with a broken leg. The guy will be out there with arms, fingers, and everything else gnarled to pieces. The coaches won't know. And Mike will be out there doing battle. We'll find out later that he was playing with under all kind of conditions. So don't tell me about Mike Persons sucking, because if he's out there doing battle with whatever he can. And granted, he should have told somebody, so if you're not capable today, let's get somebody else in there. But that's the attitude I want with all our guys.
I do too.
So that's where I'm at on that.
I really miss a very close friend of mine. His name's Martin, and he's a diehard Niner fan. And we were talking about this not even a week ago. I was like, do you remember back in like 2013, 2014 when we were winning a lot of games by 3-4 points, and it was a lot. And it was, and it was during a time when it seemed like it was always on the defense to make us stop, to shut it out. I could leave the game. I knew it. You people were afraid to play the 49ers. There's this great soundbite of Clay Matthews in the playoff game. The Niners are taking the field, and he's going, "Big bad 49ers." He goes, "This is a physical ass team, you guys," and he's getting them. The people were afraid to play us. No one's afraid of us now, and that's what we need. So a dog out there, Ronbo. We need someone to come lay the wood, man.
The way the rules are now, you gotta lay the wood, but lay it politely. And since the game has changed, I'm kind of. The guys have been handcuffed just a little bit. That's why Richard Sherman's constantly on the rampage about how the officiating has taken away the potential of most defenses and taking it, the game's handicapped them. So, you got to be able to lay guys out, but do it like in a peaceful fashion, which I don't know how he's going to do that. You can't even fall on the quarterback anymore. You tackle him, it's hard enough to get there to him, but if you fall on him 15 yards, and unsportsmanlike conduct, oh, God.
And that's another thing, man. And people don't realize exactly how big a 15-yard penalty really is. That can change an entire game. Yeah. It could be the whole game could change because of that one penalty.
Especially
people don't realize
down.
That. Third down, third and 15. Yeah. You put somebody in field goal range. That's three. The whole momentum of the whole game can change from that. It's a big deal. And the pass interference calls, like that non-call in the playoffs with New Orleans.
Yeah.
What was that? I'm like, dude. As soon as I thought of that, though, I can't help but think of karma, because there was a play that was called. It was in the year we went to the Super Bowl. Ahmad Brooks came off the edge, and I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. He sacked Drew Brees in the fourth quarter.
Nearly broke his neck.
Put his arm around here. Clean hit. Because of that play, they got the ball in field goal range, kicked the field goal, tied it up, went into overtime, got the ball, went down the field, scored, and won the game. Now, because of that one play, this had it been called the right way, we would have taken the knee and won the game. The NFC Championship game was on the road in Seattle instead of being the last game in Candlestick Park. Now, let's change the dynamic here. Could you imagine the very last game in Candlestick Park's history being against the Seahawks in the NFC Championship game? We are not losing that game. No way.
That's it.
Because of one play.
Because some of the plays that are called in the clink, everybody questions it. And not only us. I used to think it was just isolated to the 49ers versus the Hawks. But so many teams have gotten robbed and cheated in that place. I'd love to start a movement to just stop playing games in there, but find a neutral site where we play and make sure none of those guys, the referees that have been in the past messing up, are involved in this game. Yeah, Steve, let's change the pace. So I want to talk about the combine for a second. The combine is that that event of pageantry and display of Olympic talents.
Yeah. They love it.
Did that change your mind about any players you maybe had aspirations
I want
toward?
DK Metcalf so bad.
I've always loved him, though. I keep telling people, I've always loved DK. I loved DK weeks before this.
Yeah.
So.
I'll be honest with you. didn't really know who he was. My boy Martin told me about it. And he was to kick this guy out because I played wide receiver myself for years. I'm a tall, big dude, and that has been not only as receiver my favorite position, but it's also like I just love I've always been a proponent of the big-bodied, able box out, take the top off rebounder type wide receiver. And when I saw that kid, I was like, man, that is saw him run at 40 and I was like, oh my God.
He was hauling, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
4.33.
He's a man amongst boys, dude. He's at 40.5-inch vertical. I couldn't jump that high if you gave me 2 tries at it and added them together.
And you add that to a 6'3" height. And the thing is, that's 1.6 body fat, and that's how many times you been to the gym and you see guys, you're sitting over there eating between reps because you got to get bigger, and in order to muscle to growth, right? You got to keep eating, and then you cut it up later. How do you get to be 1.6? How do you?
I'll tell you what. I'm 6'3", 227, and we are not built the same. Yeah, he's a monster.
DK is an Avenger. That's the thing. I mean, it's Hollywood. If he doesn't make it to pros, Hollywood say, listen, you know what? We've got a position for you. We've already got your name. As far as the Avengers go, would you like to be? An actor?
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
That's unreal.
Oh, he's unbelievable. I couldn't believe it.
I can put my finger between each six-pack. I said, what?
He's just stocked, man. That kid. Not only that, he's a real natural athlete too. I was watching his releases, some stops and starts of him doing them, and he's got real good hips, man. He gets in and out of his breaks. He's got a real good burst to him, like a real good surge to him. That's streaky kind of a receiver, kind of like this guy back here was.
Yeah,
the guy was unbelievable in streaky routes, like any sort of drag route, the post route, any sort of fly route, he's unbelievable, man.
The problem with DK, though, the one thing, and I know Kyle's going to look at, because Kyle has specifications his people have to meet. He had a little problem with the cone, not the cone. What's that drill that receivers have to do in order to determine their ability to get in and out of routes? Is that the cones?
Yeah, it's where they got to go around. Yeah.
Yeah, DK did not do well in that. He may be just a little tight, but you know what? I think with a little condition, actually with some of the trainers and everything, you can maybe some yoga classes. I don't know, but because he's a muscular guy. So if he can't get in and out of small areas, because here's the thing, it's KB. The reason he's not fast, but for short distances and getting in and out of routes, he's brilliant. That's why you see him making those plays a lot. But here's the thing. With DK, maybe I don't need to put him in those kind of route situations. Maybe I can just get him going out and deep hooking patterns or something like that where he can get rolling. Because once that happens, he gets that speed going, you're not going to stop him. And God help the kid that comes downfield trying to take him down.
You don't want that problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That's a freight train moving through. And he's going to be out there playing the X, man, out by himself. The slot is going to be where you're going to get the shake routes, the 7-yard shakes, that kind of stuff. Yeah. That's we got Trent and
plenty of guys.
Who's and KB that can do that. We really don't have that true difference maker. Yeah, and I'm a big fan of Dante Pettis, but I really think he needs to get a little bigger.
Oh, he knows.
He's so little.
He can't
he's just so little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we got route runners, like short route runners. There's all kind of guys we could run. Let him go for deep patterns. You don't need to make him lock it up and make these razor sharp cuts midfield. Just get him downfield. So.
Yeah. How do you like the safety situation we got going on? We got Earl Thomas coming around. We got who else? There was what do you think about Earl?
I love Earl. He'd be actually the guy. If there's one guy that's actually tailor-made for that job, it's got to be Earl Thomas, of course. But now I understand that if Earl he prices himself out of this, although he's asking for, I guess what's probably coming to him. He's that good. He's 30 or 30. Earl's 30. But then now Landon Collins is in the mix. Is he 30? Am I wrong? He's 30. Okay.
Yes, he is. No, yeah, he is. He is.
Yeah, Landon Collins in the mix.
The thing is with him is, God, I love his talent, but it's I don't want to overpay for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know he's coming off of a devastating injury. He's had a couple of antics, you know, but if we can get him at the right price, I'm with it. But I don't necessarily, I mean, he's in his 30s. I feel like we can get the same bang for a smaller buck in a Landon Collins, in a Honey Badger,
And
in a
Clinton Dix is in there. as well.
yeah. I mean, excuse me, if he's the right price, if we can get him in there for, if he'll take 11.5 or something a year, I don't see why.
That's not
Earl
gonna happen.
Thomas,
I think he's already set the price
13.
at 13. Yeah.
13.
And Dallas can't pay him. So it's
No,
either
they
going
don't
to be us if we want him, because they do have the money. But like you're saying, if you overpay, you're killing your future. There's other players you got to sign. You want to spread it out so you got a nice balance of talent coming in. So, you know, free agency, it's gotten to that time. I'm telling you, Steve, because you're talking Mosley, because the edge is going to be, they're going to do whatever they can to get an edge rusher before, and maybe, Steve, if they can get an edge rusher they're satisfied with, maybe they'll take that trade down and add all those picks you're talking about. Because quantity over quality, is it time for quality over quantity? We went 2 years with a lot of quantity. Is it time for the quality?
You're right.
You know?
I think you might have a point. Like, as long as it's not, I want to, I know it's a bad word, but I want to rape somebody if we're moving down. I want to just get it. Just give me
20
it all.
picks. We'll give you this number
give
too.
it all to us. Yeah. If we're going to move down. But I mean, we really are in a very unique situation given how much talent, ability, and let's get it. How many chances do you have at a second overall pick and have your franchise set in motion, in ship, and go in the right direction? We have a direction. We have an identity. We know where we're going. We are sailing in the right direction. And then we got a second overall pick basically landing in our lap because number 10 got hurt. That's basically all that's happening right now. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We aren't lost in space, kind of like we were, this time last year looking for a quarterback and don't really know, or the year before, not really knowing what we were going to do. Yeah. We have direction. Yeah. So, I mean, we also have a lot of leverage with that pick. We're going to field tons of calls. Yeah. We're going to have it. And I mean, if we move back, I don't see it being far. The only thing that I could see it'd be, if they decided that Arizona wants to take Bosa or whoever. Bosa doesn't really fit for Arizona, though. He's not a scheme fit for them. No. He's not. So if they passed on Bosa and took somebody else and there was a quarterback-friendly or hungry team that wanted to move up, I could see that happening.
Yeah, and there's a lot of lying going on right now. Arizona, it does make sense that they'd want to go ahead and get Kyler Murray. He fits what Kingsbury likes to do, and he's had it before. But if they were going to go, Arizona does not have a defensive problem. If they do, they go ahead and they get Josh Allen. He fits their scheme. We're going to be running a wide nine, as you probably already know as well, Steve. Yeah. With that scheme, actually, I don't know between Allen may be the guy for that scheme too, as would Montez Sweat. You want guys who are fast as hell to run between those gaps. They've got outside the tight end and outside I think it's a 3 gap. Anyway,
I like Sweat. He had a good combine too.
Yeah, see, maybe the long, fast guy is a guy, but Bosa's a guy I want with. If we're gonna stay in the base package any length of time, Bosa coming off that edge, hand in the dirt. This is the kind of guy, this is what he does. Whereas the other guys are more OLBs. Yeah. Nick is a DE coming off the edge. That's what I want him for.
He's a monster coming at you. And he's got that motor, man. He's like his brother. Like, they just got that motor, man. They don't stop.
And moves. Man, I don't know. Their dad must teach them when they're 5 or 6 years old. They've got moves. I bet they had those moves in high school. The other kids are just at a disadvantage. I mean,
they studs. Yeah, I like it. I really do. I think that we're set. I'm worried about Jarek though, even though there's good news coming from him. He's tweeting that he feels good and stuff. But I'm excited to see the dynamic that our offense will take when we can line him up and pair him with Breida.
If we can just keep Breida healthy, too. I had no idea that Breida was of that caliber. Breida's he's an elite runner. I seen him go around that corner 2 or 3 times. After a while, I said, you know what? I thought he was good, but Jesus Christ, he's better than good.
We got a gem here. Yeah.
Undrafted free agent.
Yep.
Quickly, let's touch upon the OBJ, the AB situation. AB situation now is escalating. He's saying now that I am not going to come in and play for $13 million a year, folks. I need another contract, and I'm going to have some guarantees in that contract as well. I am going to have things done on my terms. Do you understand? And so I'm saying, well, that did it for, Lynch and Shanahan. Whoa, that's it for us. And then you got OBJ, who Jay Glazer says, don't listen to the Giants. Anybody sends them any kind of offer that's worthwhile, they will consider it. So I'm saying, wow. But what do you think about you mentioned earlier, we don't need a glory boy or a golden boy to win games on all.
God, I'd love one.
Okay, well, go ahead. Amplify on that.
I'll be honest with you. I like Antonio Brown. I do believe that OBJ has a superior skill set. I think he's the better polished route runner. I think he's quicker out of his breaks. I think he's got better hands. I think he can't play the boundary as good, though.
He's younger, too.
But and he's younger, and he's a lot younger. And though he is a headache and he is emotional, he is nowhere near that guy. Antonio Brown, I read that there was this video I was watching on YouTube about Antonio Brown. It was like the timeline of when he started to just go downhill. And they had a bullet point screenshot on it, bullets of all the dumb shit that this guy's done. And it's like 65 bullets of like Twitter messages this, and I've threatened this reporter that, and like wanted to leave practice here and throwing a football at Big Ben. I'm like, dude, don't
forget the water
too
cooler.
Young.
And the
water,
Gatorade.
you just stop it, bro. Like, and now you're like saying all this. You're trashing Big Ben in the media. You're acting on this. You're like, when you when you dye your hair a specific color, you got a blonde mustache. Look at me is what it's saying. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? And this is not a time that you want to be having that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, you're killing your trade value because you are a clear-cut, no-holds-bar, for sure first rounder. Yeah. It's going to take a first rounder. Now it's 3 because nobody wants that problem. It's like injecting. It's like just drilling a hole in the side of the Titanic. Sooner or later, that thing's going to sink. It might take a while, but we went down this road with T.O., you know?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a good wide receiver, and I'm talking about the guys that are going to be Hall of Fame ballots, that don't have a divitude.
Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, Rice wasn't really a diva. He had his little
Rice wasn't a diva,
eccentric stuff, but he wasn't the guy that went out there and had temperatures on the field and crying out loud. I understand every now and then he did say something, but he's good. He didn't make a big scene out of it. T.O., yeah, you're right, he messed up. Even Crabtree, who wasn't all that good, was messing up. So.
Yep. It's just a crapshoot with receivers because that's a flashy position there, And not only that, he's not going to get. I don't see him getting the same amount of targets in San Francisco as he was. And I think another big deal with him is Juju out there is a monster.
It's pissing him off. All of a sudden, the attention got off him, and Juju's getting way too many throws. They had 2 guys over 1,000 yards, and Antonio. Antonio wasn't abused. He thought, hey, listen, some of them Juju shots, those were mine.
Yeah.
And Antonio, you had how many touchdowns? Is 15? Come on.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, dude, and he got mad he wasn't the team MVP and all this. It was also personal. He left a game. He left the stadium. Left it. Hold on, I gotta fix this. 1 second. He left it. Like, just he left practice, didn't get what he wanted, was all upset, and then went to the game on Sunday, got to the game, wasn't playing, wasn't starting because he was suspended for conduct detrimental to the team, turned around and left his team. I don't want it.
I know. I
don't want that.
We amongst all through our community, 49ers community, we got people on both sides of the fence. So we're going to stop. It's like talking politics now. When you talk about Antonio, so we're going to stop. Yeah. We got to go anyway, Steve. Let you get back to doing what you do. I want to tell you, Steve, what do you do? I love what he does. Steve, what do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
Oh, for work?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a canine handler. I work for a counterterrorism and explosive detection agency in Manhattan. I work with a dog.
Is that exciting or what? I just want to. Thanks, Steve. That's awesome.
Thanks.
I'm talking about a life of adventure on a daily basis. I love it.
Yeah.
Hey,
it gets pretty boring, actually.
Well, because fortunately we don't have a lot of terrorists running around, but you got to be ready for them, though. Jesus Christ.
Right.
That could happen anytime. Hey, Steve.
Exactly.
Fun as usual. But you know what? It will not be the same amount of time between our conversations as last time. I'm going to see you soon. But right now, it's time for the holla. I'm going to give you the 3, 2, 1. You remember that, right? 3,
All right.
2, 1.
Thank you, Big Steve. Well, we have a lot to look forward to, fam. I'm talking to you a little bit later. Can't wait. Because I got a feeling it's going to be all smiles and fun this year. I know. Don't get overexcited. Don't put the cart out in front of the horse. I'm sticking to what I said, though. I'm telling you right now, that was an 8-8 team last year had it not been, and I say 8-8 at worst, had it not been, or should I say minimum, had it not been for a lot of the weird injuries. But we're going to be ready this year. We got the sports science team out there that's going to make sure the 49ers keep strong. If they can keep a hockey team on the floor, I don't know why they can't help us. So we'll see what happens with that. Fam, we got a weekend. We got a weekend coming up. Yes! Man, I can't wait to see what they do. And you know, the 49ers plan on making a splash this year. I mean, they've heard it from every direction. They're probably not going to completely abandon their policy and principles, but we can expect something good to come out of this. And hey, and quite frankly, we ain't all that far away. We got a few holes, but yes, they can be filled. Fam, I'm gonna go, and I can't wait to see you this weekend and see what happens. Please hit that like, share and subscribe. I can't wait to see you this weekend. But I'm ready to go now.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.